Okay, the audio is much better. Okay. They're still getting ready. So, in this game, there we are. We are off. Now that they've started. So, this is Ophelia. She can do what is called guiding. That is her unique path action. And what that will do is that will lead people around as they need it. You have to do this in the story both, as well as for some battles. We will be taking a couple different ones over the course of the run. To start off with, we're just running through the story. As you can see, there is a cutscene skip, which is probably one of the reasons why this game is as popular as it is to speedrun. Without it, it would be pretty bad. I want to say runs would probably be twice as long. And I, for one, certainly wouldn't have been playing it for however many 100 hours I've played the game. But, yeah, so we're just going to start off nice and simple. First thing they're going to do is they're going to go guide what's known as the Tavern Patron. This NPC is very important for the first boss and the second boss. He has a wind attack. And this wind attack hits 3 times, which will take off 3 shields. So in this game, the battle system is basically you have a number of shields. You have to hit each weakness that number of shield times. And once they're broken, down to 0 shields, they're stunned for the rest of that turn and the next turn, as well as taking full double damage. A weakness hits a 1.3 modifier. So breaking is very important. And you'll see that pretty much being the strategy is to break as quickly as possible and keep things as broken as possible. They also grab the quartz rod, which basically just does a little extra damage. It'll be used in these first 2 battles as well. Without them, they would just be slower. And thankfully, the money route has worked out such as it is that we know 100% you can buy it with no issues. So, interesting difference in strategy you can see right off the bat. When you break an enemy, you have a 100% chance to flee from them. However, if you don't have a 100% chance. Z3R0 decided to go break and run, whereas LostC0re decided to YOLO it, and he couldn't run. These squirrels, unfortunately, you just can't break them both at the same time at the moment because we don't have any AoE abilities at the moment. So you just have to try and run. They both got the squirrel encounter. That's actually extremely rare that 2 runners would get 2 squirrel encounters on this screen. They also got a 2 encounter on that screen, which is also not ideal, but it can happen. This screen on the other hand, you always only get 1. This wolf is a common one. Again, Z3R0 and LostC0re both deciding to break and run. As you can see, LostC0re didn't even break until now, so his little pop-up thing didn't pop. Healing because you want to be at full before the final boss, the first boss. And this is Guardian. Pretty simple. Break him, hit him with a nuke, break him again, hit him with a nuke, and he's dead. Summoning the guy first. As you can see, he did 3 hits of summon winds, taking off half the shield. Whereas on LostC0re, just smacked him with the staff, which is also a weakness, which helps. Let's see how this plays out. So far, Z3R0's getting perfect luck, getting 2 wins in a row. Did not get the win on the break, but that's less important. More wins. Wow, Z3R0 getting really good win luck here. LostC0re getting relatively normal luck, I would say. Then he summons this wisp. You have to kill him in 3 turns or the wisp will explode. That hurts. I believe it does about 150 damage. You don't want that to happen. Usually you can break and kill before it happens, but, you know, runs have been lost to that. Obviously, it's really early and normal if you're playing and that happens, you'll just reset from the beginning. But Z3R0 getting through nice and quickly, 437. That's a really good running time. Not the best, but I would say it's about average with better encounter luck. He would have gotten better, but he had a good Guardian. LostC0re following right behind. So they're just finishing off Chapter 1 at the end, and the run out go right up to Alistam, where we're going to recruit our second character, Cyrus. Along the way, it's extremely unlikely, especially in Ophelia route, but they might get a enemy known as a Kate. It's a 3% chance on these screens. And if you can manage to kill it, which again is extremely low chance simply because he'll like to run away, the route will change a little. I'm not 100% positive what the Kate route actually is, but because I've never seen it live, and especially with these new strats, but it's not too likely that we'll see it. We might see a Kate. We've seen plenty of Kates in the tournament. After this, the other time you want to see it would be after getting Cyrus and leaving. If you see that, that's actually extremely good luck, because as long as you don't get surprised, you can skip the really annoying grind that's going to happen later. I say grind, but it's like one battle, but we call it the grind. So, approaching Alistam here, both of them getting relatively standard encounter luck. You know, two enemies can just, if you fail to run, it just happens. You can't do much about it. You just have to try. You just have to deal if you get low HP. Nothing you can do. Goal is to get to Alistam as absolutely quickly as possible. And then we're going to be picking up Cyrus here. Also, I think I should switch audio here. Zero is clearly in the lead. Let me know if the audio is too low or something. Sounds fine to me, but... So that's Cyrus. He has what's known as Scrutinize, which basically shakes people down for information. There's no other way of putting it. Sometimes you'll get a hidden item like that, which is a nice M-stone we'll be using later. Sometimes you'll get other important things, as we'll see later. Grab another quarterstaff, again, for damage. And this small stone as well. Very important for this Russell fight to gain fast. So they could have gotten a drop from the Guardian. I did not notice if they got this drop, a Shadow Soul Stone, a small. If they got that, then they'll save a few seconds here. Alternatively, the enemies they're going to fight, hopefully, two of these Sentinel enemies. They can also drop small Soul Stones, so you want to watch for that. We want two of these because we want 10 JP job points, so that both of them so that Cyrus can learn an ability after Russell here. If they're unlucky, they'll get a Bones, which only gives 4 JP. If they're really unlucky, they'll get 2 Bats, which just takes way too long. Or there's 2 Sentinels. That's an extremely rare encounter. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately Zero getting a little bit troll here. LostC0re is actually going to be able to catch up simply for a few seconds. He did that really well. He's Zero. He's a world record holder for a reason. He must have gotten a Soulstone drop somewhere because he did not pick up that shadow. LostC0re, unfortunately, getting a Bones. If you can't kill this on the first turn, and depending on turn order, I believe with Cyrus first you can. So, yes, he did. So he gets the bonus 1 JP, which is good, so he'll be fine. So Russell is kind of similar to Guardian. You summon, you try to break him. Cyrus will be doing Fire on the Wisp to break them, and then we'll toss a Soul Stone to get rid of them. Yeah, he got the Shadow Drop, I see. And Wind Guy again comes through. One soulstone should kill. This should kill the wisp. This is Zero is getting really good boss luck so far, and it is luck. It's just because he's really good at the game. It's still, the game could say no. But in this case, I would say this is a textbook Russell fight in this group. Well, almost. LostC0re is still doing fine. Russell can kill you, especially with the wisp. You do have plenty of revival items, so it's not that bad, it's just slower. Also, you'll notice that Zero's playing on Japanese voices. I believe LostC0re is too. Japanese voices are very slightly faster. Over time, in longer runs especially, it can add up, especially if you have Haunted in them. But for the most part, it doesn't matter too much in Ophelia route. But it's still probably like maybe a second faster, all added up. Who knows? I haven't timed it. I don't know if anyone has. But speedrunners in general were used to playing on Japanese voices just because it is faster half the time. Except in an Ulbrich single story, in which case, because he rambles on, like me. Alright, so that is Russell down. End of this. He's going to learn 2 spells, Lightning Blast and Luminescence. Both of these are basically safety spells. Lightning Blast is needed for the route, but he doesn't technically need to learn it yet. In an ideal situation, you would not learn it until after this upcoming grind. But you use it, especially in a tournament, because it's faster if you do end up taking battles here. And it looks like he is going to take some battles. Again, and Luminescence, again, is only necessary for this grind. It's completely unnecessary for the rest of the route. The goal here is to get Iris to 100 more JP. So he can learn a second ability, which will be Blizzard. Though it's needed, but it's irrelevant to what's needed now, which is the passive skill Evasive Maneuvers. And as the name implies, it lowers the encounter rate. And as you can imagine in a speedrun, well, not only does that make everything faster because you get less battles, but it pretty much allows us to go as much of the world as we want outside of a couple exceptions without getting into battles and grabbing a lot of endgame gear, lots of money. It's really extremely useful, and speedruns would be incredibly different without it. So Zero got the best encounter out here for JP, these 3 ants. As you can see, because of luck, oh, well, he got that. So what we want in this Whistlewood fight is bugs, or owls, and not frogs. We get frogs. He'll probably still take this. He's probably going to have to grind 1 or 2 battles outside. Yeah, it looks like he has 89. I can't read that very well with the small text. It's either 89 or 99, I believe. 1 more battle should give him the amount he needs. There's LostC0re, let's see what... Yeah, I believe these frogs will be enough, I'm not 100%. Whereas LostC0re got a good battle, but he got caught by surprise with 10 tap and a lot in Whistlewood, unfortunately. And that's why speedrunners hate Whistlewood. It's necessary, but it can just ruin your day. So Zero, because of good RNG, is just now firmly in the lead. LostC0re is going to have to do it again. Oh, he did have to take 1 more battle. This is another really good JP. If he had gotten this one first, he would have for sure gotten enough. I believe. Fun little fact, this meat is actually missable if you do not encounter it and reveal all its weaknesses by getting your 4th character or doing any chapter 2. It will be gone forever and you can't get the achievement. Fun little fact. So there he goes, learning evasive maneuvers, and as you can see on the screen, he's going into level 17 area. We are emphatically not level 17 yet. I actually missed what battle LostC0re got in the woods. I'm assuming it wasn't bugs. I'm guessing it was frogs again. Tagging Noble Court. So a good thing about this game is once you tag a town that's basically walk into it, you can then fast travel to it whenever you want. So you just step into Noble Court, and at that point, you can just teleport back there whenever you want. And off to Forest of Purgation, which happens to be the absolute highest level area in the game, and that is the power of evasive maneuvers. You can just get this large soul stone and this really nice money chest coming up. In other routes, you can also get that forbidden dagger that's in the purple chest there, which is one of the better daggers as long as you're not using fire or dark magic. It's probably, I want to say, the third best in the game, maybe the fourth. And so they're off, going south toward Rippletide. So in general, with evasive maneuvers, there are some screens which, as long as you have good movement, you will not get an encounter. Some screens, you might get an encounter. This is one of those. And then other screens, you absolutely 100% will get an encounter. We know which screens are what. Sometimes, you'll see this later. We'll do a save and quit to reset the encounter rate. This will come into play in a few minutes. But for now, heading over to Rippletide, pick up Tressa, the third and last character. I want to say it was May-ish, maybe? April, May? I don't remember exactly when, but people started theory crafting, and 3 characters was in fact faster than 4, and was still very doable. And it turns out for many of the characters, this is correct. And so most of the tournament matches have in fact featured 3 characters. Both of these runners, I believe, use the same 3-character inhibit route. Although I think LostC0re might have used the Thief Shrine route in his last one. I actually don't remember. Someone did, but I don't remember if it was him or his opponent. So anyways, this is Tressa. She is perhaps the #1 mainstay in speedrunning that runs of this game. A, because she's a merchant, which gives the ability hired help. And B, because she generates money when she walks. You'll see in the second, as she leaves the next screen, there'll be a little prompt that said Tressa found 156 or whatever leads. She does that every single screen, and the more higher the danger level, the more money you're going to get. This is in fact rooted into the routes. We know about how much. It's going to change a little bit based on your exact movement, and but it's going to be relatively consistent the whole run. Oh, that was pretty close. It was 168. So this is Mickey Mac upcoming. I want to say blink and you'll miss it, but that's not quite true. Blink 5 times and you'll miss it. So yeah, this is a more showcasing evasive maneuvers, getting a really powerful item that can just wreck these early bosses. 1 L stone and 1 M stone just kills them. Doesn't even matter if it hits weakness or not, it just kills them. Actually, if it hits weakness, 1 will kill them both. In other routes and other categories, you might be using a windstone there. Large windstone, which will just flat out kill them. But without the weakness hitting, you have to add the M stone as well for extra damage. Still, power of soul stones, you'll be seeing those a bunch of times. In the basically, we're halfway done with the bosses as well. One reason these characters are so short, because we really only have 4 main bosses in each character's story, plus some of the stories have a couple extra battles. This one does have an extra battle before the boss, but it's part of the same battle chain. That's later. Oh, excuse me. So, heading over. Off toward the Merchant Shrine and beyond. First stop is the Warrior Shrine. So the job shrines effectively allow you to take on the abilities of any other character in the game, playable character. Unlike some games, it's not really a job system where you can choose what job your characters have in general. Your character has the stable job, they can just add a second job. So in this case, we'll be getting Warrior and Merchant and possibly Thief if they decide to go that route. And you can only have one character per job assigned to a job. So you can't have like 3 merchants. You can't have or anything like that. You can only have a maximum 2 in your party. And one of them has to be Tressa if you want to. So here's going to be the first example of the save and quit trick. As one might expect, it does not remember your steps taken after you quit the game. So you just quit out, and then you can go through the screen with no battles at all. Technically in this screen it's possible to get to the Merchant Shrine without a battle. It's, I don't know, maybe a 2% chance. It's pretty low, and you have to have good movement. Beyond those 2 things, it's really not worth risking unless you really want to go YOLO. I suppose a world record attempt might do it, but you'd have to be pretty hardcore esports for that, I guess. So this is a Merchant Shrine. Again, extremely powerful job, has an extremely powerful ability. Hired Help also has a very good ability called Donate BP. And just these 2 abilities alone pretty much make speedruns into what they are, especially the shorter categories. Though Donate BP isn't quite as important. In fact, I actually don't think you learned that in this. I'm not 100%. I forget, actually. It's been a while since I've looked into the exact abilities, but it's a great ability regardless. So here we're tagging Goldshore. This is going to be Ophilia's Chapter 3 location. And just leave it. We don't need to do anything in there yet. Coming up on this guy here. So you scrutinize this guy. He gives what's an information that's called a safe route. That's going to be basically when you turn in the side quest, it's 11,000. It's a nice extra money. And you need it for the route. Unfortunately, Zero getting a battle here. Not really much you can do. It's not a huge chance at a battle, but it's also a really small chance at running. So pretty much going to be taking the death and losing time here. It's just the thing. If you can manage to survive a turn like that, you have a better chance of running the second turn. I don't know if it's actually, I believe it's actually scales up. I've certainly noticed just through observation that it scales up. Once you hit 5, you're guaranteed to leave. So it's probably 20, 40, 80. It's not quite like 20, 40, 60, 80 because you have a better chance of fleeing the higher your level, the higher your party level actually, total party level. But you do end up having a better chance. So here's Grandport, level 45 area. Again, in this little section, it's possible to get a battle. We hope not. We have seen it a bunch of times on this tournament, unfortunately. I managed to skip it, but my opponent got it twice. So, however, he's just going to reset the step because he got that L stone, which he needs. Reset the step encounter there. Otherwise, you'll pretty much guarantee to get an encounter. It is possible, but you don't want that encounter. It'll wreck you. Getting a nice money chest there and doing a save and quit again. And as you can see, between the two bad RNG shots that Z3R0 got, LostC0re managed to catch up pretty well. Yeah. So we get that chest, and again, the thing about this Grand Port screen is that both runs can get you a battle, both to the save point and from the save point. Z3R0 getting through nicely, however, makes up for his loss in Gold Shore. So Z3R0 is going to go over to Lock of the Lost King, which houses another very nice money chest, as well as another Elfstone. As you can see, we need a lot of those. LostC0re following right behind him, so I imagine they are both in fact doing the same route. I'm going to teleport to Grand Port and do some shopping and pick up some more items, including this optional item called the Unerring Bracelet, which increases your accuracy. This is mainly important because you don't want to miss on a couple battles, which you can very easily miss. It's, again, one of those things that if you're going for world record, you're not going to do it, probably. But for marathon, you definitely want the safety. Buying a couple things, I believe pomegranates, medium pomegranates, grabbing these chests. LostC0re on the other hand forgoing the Grand Port shopping trip. So he looks like he's ahead, but he didn't do Grand Port yet, so Z3R0 is still slightly in the lead. And both are just going to now head. Well, that's not true. LostC0re might be doing Thief Shrine. We'll see in a minute. Oh, Z3R0 getting it right before the last step. That's always annoying. So skipping Cobblestone there's literally no reason to walk in there. It's only useful if you want to tag it. It's slightly quicker to do it, but with bad encounter luck, it's slightly quicker. With good encounter luck, it's slightly slower. It's one of those weird things. We'll see in a second what LostC0re is going to do, but Z3R0 is for sure going to be going over toward Sainsbridge. Oh, LostC0re going to Sainsbridge. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Z3R0 is the one going to Thief. But we'll see in a second. Nope. Okay, so both are heading over to Sainsbridge. Again, LostC0re looks slightly ahead. However, he still hasn't done Grand Port yet. So Z3R0 is still ahead. That can change. There are a couple things that can mess you up in this area, which is Ophilia's Chapter 2. Once again, doing the story. If anyone's actually interested in the story, I apologize. It's a little hard to really go through the story while the cutscenes are skipping so quick. But effectively, Ophelia is on a journey to light these 3 flames because her adopted sister had to take care of her adopted father who fell ill. Liana, who was originally going to be the one to go on this pilgrimage. So Ophelia gets there, actually completes her job, and so she's actually kind of done. But she runs into these kids. There's some shenanigans with a missing gooch or something. And effectively, one of the kids ends up running away into the woods, and Ophelia ends up chasing after him. So on LostC0re's screen, you can see him trying to scrutinize this guy, as with Zero. There's a 30% chance. It's a decent chance that you won't get it, though it does look like they both got it. You have to pay 8,000 to restore your reputation if you do, and unfortunately, you have to make up that money somehow. But they both got it. It's a very important scrutinize, because it'll buy one of the items that pretty much make this run doable as quickly as it is. Otherwise, you would pretty much have to grind somehow. Probably JP for Hang Tough. That would be my guess for the replacement, but it's not something we need to worry about since these items are right here. Heading into Ophelia's Chapter 2 dungeon, the Merkwood. First, we're going to the Merkwood Trail. This is another one of those screens that you might get an encounter, you might not. This is, I want to say maybe a good 50-50 chance. It's pretty common you'll get an encounter here. LostC0re getting it pretty early, and not getting the really bad encounter. There's actually a really bad encounter you can get here that you cannot kill with a single stone, but unfortunately getting surprised though, so he's dead. Putting him further behind. Zero getting to the save point, he decides to save and quit. You don't need to take this encounter, so usually runners will just save and quit, just to avoid using a stone. That's the main reason you don't kill one. It is faster to kill the encounter, but killing the encounter uses a stone, and you don't want to use a stone if you don't have to. This encounter, however, that is going to be mandatory in this zone unless you save and quit. They will be taking, because we need the JP. And it can be killed with a single stone as well. It also has a chance of surprising you, as Zero certainly knows, and it happened to him again. He got surprised. Unfortunately, he got surprised 3 times by this battle last match. He's probably feeling pretty bad about that right now. Happening again. Yeah, chat, that salamander is quite the meme in this community. I don't know, I think it's hilarious, but this big mouth thing, it's silly. But, you know, it is what it is. And LostC0re getting no surprise, so that's good. Catches up a little, saves some time there. Killing it with the shadow nicely. There he is. Okay, Zero getting a second try. Doing some menuing, setting up for this second boss here. This will be the first boss where you'll see the power of one of the best abilities of the game, Hired Help, also known as Pay to Win. For 30,000 leads, which, as you can imagine, when we only have about 70,000, an extremely large amount, and 70,000 because we got to capture 4 areas at that, you can do an incredibly powerful attack that will not one-shot it, but it'll do quite a large percentage of the hit points. Ooh, LostC0re looking like he missed on Cyrus. I'm not actually sure on that with this battle. Because you do have 1,000 Spheres, which does do multiple hits. So tossing a couple of Soul Stones to make up the damage. Neither of them have Armor Corrosive ability, or what you'll find later, the Enfeeblement ability, which will reduce his defense, and so Hired Help will only do 47 a hit instead of about 7,000 a hit, which is a huge difference, of course. But even so, even without the Enfeeblement, being able to hit, you know, about 19,000 in one ability on Chapter 2 boss is an incredible amount. Finishing up Chapter 2 here. no worries. Both getting through that fight cleanly. And then a quick teleport right over to Gold Shore to start chat. Oh, LostC0re doing Grandport now. Interesting. Alright. So as you can see now, things are lining up. Zero starting chapter 3. I guess it makes sense. It doesn't really matter. You don't particularly need to do Gold Shore first. I guess you don't need the unerring bracelet too much for Ver is the name of that chapter 2 boss, who I'm sure I mangled completely. Right there, Zero turned in the side quest for this cool 11k. Doing a little more resource gathering, another soulstone scrutinized. That one's actually 100% for whatever reason, which is nice. Continue on with this chapter, doing some shenanigans. And the reason why they didn't guide an NPC earlier to grab a low hit reduced defense is because of this. You have to guide this character, and if you already have someone guiding, you have to give them up. So it's better to just not take two different people or the same person twice. So here is the end of Ophelia chapter 3, and in pretty much every route that comes to this spot, they have to fill in a teleport somewhere. It takes so long to get back to the beginning of the chapter, or town, where you get to the dungeon, that it's much better to teleport someone else. And so in this route, it's used to buy these empowering bracelets. It gets 500 hit points to each person. And with 2 of them, that's 1,000 hit points. And we need those to survive. There's just no way around it. You're just going to get wrecked by chapter 3 and 4 bosses without it. And you have to make sure to heal up after you equip them, or else you're not going to have a good time. I'm not the only one who's forgotten that a few times. Picking up this soulstone here. Zero likes to get it if he needs it. Matthias is standing right there. You can talk to him if you want. You don't have to. He's green, but who cares? Skip him. We don't care about him. Going to this, here's another screen that can just give you a battle. Not too commonly, but enough that it's annoying that it's not a huge surprise when it happens. And you have to figure out how to break it somehow and flee. But Zero getting through there cleanly into the dungeon proper. This dungeon actually trips me up even to this day. I've run it, I don't know how many times I've run through it, but for some reason I just can't wrap my head around the exact route to go through it every time. Doing another save and quit, and he'll head right to the boss, which is, with the unerring bracelet, is relatively free. It's pretty scripted. They'll always do the same abilities for this first few turns, so as long as you hit the right inputs, you're good to go. However, as you can see, they guided a character known as the Warrior Ward, and unfortunately that, however, is RNG. You pretty much have to get, in this battle you can simply use extra soul stones, but if they don't get the proc, we'll see what happens. Oh, right away, so free battle. They're gonna do the same. You're gonna break this top guy with an axe or a spear. Yeah. So in this view, you have to break him with spear, and that's why you want the unerring bracelet, or else it might miss. And you're gonna have a bad time. He'll always do that healing ability after that luminescence ability, so you're perfectly safe as long as you heal. Breaking these guys with dancers just for a little bit of extra damage. Tossing a couple soul stones. And the hired help veterans with the defense down. As you can see, that just wrecks them. These are Chapter 3 bosses, but they actually have somewhat lower HP simply because there's 2 of them. So 1 vets is enough for them, and they're down. On LostC0re's side, as you can see, he did not get the enfeeblement, unfortunately. So he's just going to have to make up the damage with a soul stone or 2 if it doesn't proc. I believe it's 2 larges extra to make up the damage. Yeah. But getting through it regardless. No problems. So finishing up the Chapter 3. Oh no, Ophelia is betrayed by her sister. She wants to resurrect her dad because the Savior made a promise that she could. So she stole the sacred flame from Ophelia. And Ophelia is going to go knock some sense into her sister. And on the way there, she's going to encounter some flame strafes. These guys look scary. They're in a level 45 area. You're going to encounter them no matter what. But thankfully, they tend to just like to reduce your defense and waste their time doing that and not attacking you. So you still need to get a little bit lucky to break them, however. They're weak to spears and bows. We have plenty of spear options. I believe all 3 characters have spear options. Wait, does Ophelia? No, she doesn't. Yeah, she's a merchant, so she does. So we'll see what happens. Oh, she's the warrior. Cyrus is the merchant. Sorry. This is a little bit of RNG. Breaking it and escaping, because once again, a broken enemy you can just flee from 100%. Alright, coming up to Whisper Mill. Oof. Starting Chapter 4. I'm gonna go sell a whole bunch of stuff. We need about 88,400, I believe is the correct number. Usually you'll have plenty of money, especially if you don't reset. He needs a little bit more, it looks like. Again, with the randomness of Tressa and a couple other things, you might be missing a little bit. Mostly the couple other things being what battles you end up killing along the way as your randoms. But he manages to find plenty of money. This doesn't too matter too much. He'll just have to heal Tressa. It's not a big deal. It's still anyone's game because Matthias can just... Well, Worrywart can just say no, and Matthias can just say no. So both of these things can just... And hell, the Savior's lackeys, I forget what their actual enemy name is, that you fight before, and they can just say no. So, yeah, it's still anyone's game. But here's the final dungeon. I'm gonna save and quit one more time, and then thankfully there happens to be a nice little chest down at the bottom for our last 30,000. Exactly enough for one vet. So the math works out so well. It's always nice when that happens. Alright, so yeah, first we have to fight these Yaos. They can actually throw soul stones at you. And if two of them decide to throw soul stones at you, you're just gonna die. Nothing you can do, but... Zero deciding to play it a little bit safe and hitting Luminescence first to break the back two before they could do attacks. Not a bad strategy. Tossing some soul stones will kill them. 2 M stones and an L will kill, or 2 L's will kill. Usually we do 2 M's and an L, but it depends on your stone count, I suppose. You're gonna guarantee level up from this battle, so it doesn't matter if they attack you as long as everyone's alive at the end. So this is Matthias, or Matthias, if you will. The game calls him Matthias. He's actually relatively easy in the grand scheme of final bosses. And as long as he doesn't hit any character twice, you're gonna be pretty good. There's also the cover ability, which, since he did the darkness first, if he had attacked Cyrus, Ophelia would have covered Cyrus and gotten hit instead. So that's some extra safety. And breaking him, and since we only have 3 characters, we can't necessarily do enough damage to do him in one break. So, tossing up a couple reflective veils, which will block the magic that he's going to do after the break, as well as give just a little bit of extra damage as well. Getting the inhibit, of course, is what we need, so we can hit some vets and wreck him. He takes 4 vets times 3, 2 vets times 3, and 2 vets times 4, plus some extra damage to kill. And there's your 2 vets to start. We have to go through this in 3 character route. He'll always do that second Black Gale attack. As you can see, the reflection did a little bit of damage. As long as you break him now, which he did cleanly, as expected. I believe Zero has this. Unless he just messes up his inputs, he's got it. And that is GG. Good job on Zero. That was a nice tight race in the end. LostC0re looking like he's gotten the enfeeblement as well. Let's switch over to his audio. And let's see if he's done. And I think LostC0re has this one in the bag too. It's a nice tight race with both of them winning, or finishing is always nice to see. So that nice cute little Tressa icon is on Zero's side. And just a couple more vets and the soul stone to finish him off. Ooh. Hopefully. Oh, there he is. I've never seen two vets there, but alright, sure. And so Zero is the winner of our first match. Hopefully we will be able to continue into the second match, because apparently in an hour they're supposed to change to a different race. But okay, good. We can keep going. That's good. So as you can see, the end credits are playing, which is why it's considered a full run, effectively. I'm not sure where the volume went. I apologize. Oh, there it is. So I assume we are going to be continuing right now when I don't know if they want to take a break or let the credits play or what, but I was actually not told anything about how this multi-game is going to be set up. I apologize. Hope everyone's enjoying this. I don't know where the audio went. I do apologize. Could be technical issues, or it might have something just to do with the way matches being finished are. Oh, I apologize. You can actually hear it on the stream. Okay. I just couldn't hear it on my end. I couldn't hear it on my end. Oh, I do apologize for all the jank and perhaps for apologizing so much. But it is what it is. So one thing I love about these end credits is you can see that every time you fought a battle, a boss battle, it remembered what your final move was, and then it shows that during the end credits. So if you do all 32 chapters before finishing your first character's chapter, you get a better final game experience, I suppose. But this is speedrun. We don't have time for that. Except in all main stories, in which case you're not going to be sitting through the credits, so you are going to have time for that. Alright, I believe they're going to be starting momentarily. They might be just waiting for the credits. Because there's no quick title screen while you're at the credits. If you want to leave the credits, go back to the title screen, you have to exit your game, or wait 8 minutes. It's one or the other. Nothing you can do about that. And the interesting thing is, after the credits, there is always a short little scene. And in Ophelia's case, you actually have to do this last guide of Liana. It's actually really sweet little scene. Calls back to the beginning of the story. And then at the end, well, oh. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's just playing around, I guess. Seeing, no, I want to go shopping. No, let me go shopping. I'm a girl. I want to go shopping. And that's it. Finn. Oh, he went through that Finn screen so quickly you couldn't even see it. It pops up this nice little graphic. I love these little graphics at the end. They're really cute. And I see Z3R0 is ready. Just waiting on LostC0re to finish. That's interesting. I'm wondering if you can actually go to the title screen from this. You probably can, because you do have everyone you're controlling at this point. I've never tried, though. Looks like LostC0re is going to finish up the story first. Oh, thank you, Quadra. I just, as I said, I mean, I might have tried it once. Alright, looks like we are about ready to begin round 2. And since I hopefully did a good job of explaining everything in round 1, I'm not going to explain a lot. But as usual, if you have any questions in chat, feel free to answer. I will be glancing on it. I love this game too, Pauly D. I think my Steam time is up to 480-ish hours. And that's not even close to as much as, say, Z3R0 and LostC0re here have played, I'm sure. And that's not even counting Switch, which I didn't, I don't have a Switch, so I didn't get this until months into the PC release, in fact. But, yeah, past year I've been just playing it a lot. In fact, this is the first game I've speedrun in years. Or that is to say, done legit time speedruns. So we're going to start again. Same as before. Guide, leave, tavern patron, etc. We all know the drill by now. And if not, feel free to ask any questions. One little interesting thing I will note is that Z3R0 decides to get this tavern patron after, whereas LostC0re gets it before. I do believe it's basically exactly the same. There might be a few frames different because of the way movement is, but it doesn't matter in the end. Though knowing Z3R0, he actually might have timed it. Court staff, extra damage. And they're off to the road. The path, sorry. The path to the Cave of Origin. At exactly the same time. Ooh, this sync. That just goes to show you how top tier both these runners actually are. Both deciding to break them this time. One thing you can do on the screen, if you really want to give yourself a better chance at getting one encounter, is walking. So I haven't mentioned this yet, but if you walk when you don't have evasive maneuvers, you take more steps before getting an encounter. However, it is still slower because you're walking. However, if you do get only one encounter versus two, it ends up being faster. They both chose to run. They both got 2 encounters. They're both tied. They're both getting the same battles. Are they must be on the same seed, you know? Oh, no. LostC0re getting the flea and Z3R0 not. It is possible to get 2 encounters in here. Usually you'll know. Usually it'll only happen if you get a really early first encounter. I've seen a runner or two go and grab that soul stone, get your soul stone off to the side. If they think they're going to definitely get the second one. So, Guardian fight, summon Tavern Patron, try to get wins, break, Holy Light. Z3R0 getting some decent luck. LostC0re also getting some good luck. Actually, 2 wins on the broken enemy is really good because that does something like 570 damage between the two. That's quite a chunk of his health. He has 1,924 HP. I happen to know this very well. And each Holy Light does about, what is it, like 624? Which, so you need to make up a few hundred extra damage with the winged guy as best as you can. And you're snap smacking. So because Z3R0 got those 2 wins, he actually managed to go faster than LostC0re. So in the chat asking about the flurry guy. So there is a guy at the entrance to town. If you guide him, he has an ability called Flurry, which basically does 3 arrow hits. And I honestly don't know why you would guide him instead of just using your Tavern Patron who does 3 wind hits. Maybe it does 4 hits or something? I actually don't know the reason, but people will guide him if they're trying to get a Kate. Once again, getting a Kate in Ophelia single story run is not only do you have so few battles to actually get the Kate, but killing it is so hard that it's just not something people do unless they're masochistic. That's all there is to it. Head back. Oh, so Flurry can hit 4 times. Okay, that's what I figured it had to be. Because Kates have 4 hit points. Summon Wind will always hit. Magic will always hit 100% of the time, even on a Kate. But Summon Winds will only hit the 3 hit points, and he'll still likely potentially flee or heal, and then he'll likely go first the next turn and then flee. So, whereas if Flurry can hit 4 times, then you have a much better chance. But even then, you're still relying on RNG. And speaking of RNG, some battle RNG, standard stuff. Running over to Alistam. Z3R0 getting ants twice. That's always not nice to see, but he managed to escape them both, so that's fine. You don't want to see ants until after the Whistlewood grind. Let me rephrase that. The only time you want to see ants is after the Whistlewood grind where you didn't get bugs or howlers. Otherwise, you kind of don't want to see ants. Although, if you are going to take the battle before Whistlewood, which most tournament runners have been doing, you still want to see ants because of it. So, again, RNG is a thing in this game, and you just have to pray that it's nice to you today. LostC0re getting trolled by those frogs. Yeah, frogs! Frogs are practically a meme in this speedrunning Octopath group. That's all there is to it. Frogs. Frogs are simply frogs. Ooh, caught by surprise by a sentinel. That's a rare occurrence. You have two characters, one of whom is a level 3, and this is a level 1 enemy, so that's not too common. I don't know if I can't even remember the last time I saw a surprise in that dungeon, especially with two characters. Those sentinels are not surprising you often. Oh, and Z3R0 getting the bones. And caught by surprise. That is some really troll RNG for Z3R0 in this dungeon. So he's either gonna have to take another encounter or just lose out on Lightning Blast. We'll see what he does. He is gonna grab this Soul Stone. I guess he did not get the drop this time. So he's just gonna go for it and hope he doesn't need the Lightning Blast for outside Whistlewood, basically. Or Whistlewood itself if he doesn't get the encounter, which is possible to get to Whistlewood without an encounter. Oh, and as you can see now, our stream now has cute little Ophelia icons instead of Tressa icons. For better or for worse. That's up to you to decide, I guess. So yeah, here's Russell again. As you can see, they can just bully one character. It's usually Cyrus, because he has less hit points. Or maybe they know he's gonna burn him. We don't know. But same as before, break the best, toss the Soul Stone, kill him. No wins yet, which is unfortunate. No, still broken. Ophelia gonna nuke. Cyrus tossing a Soul Stone. LostC0re doing the same. And as you can see, Russell has quite a decent amount of extra E-Def simply because he's a 2-character Chapter 1 boss instead of a single character Chapter 1 boss. The Chapter 1 bosses in this game, they scale. Every time you recruit a character up to 4, you get a new tier of that boss. And so this Russell is different than the Russell you would fight if you only had Cyrus alone. That is, as far as his stats goes. The battle is basically the same. And Z3R0 finishing him off, no problem. But once again, I believe he's a job point down from getting Lightning Blast. This is unfortunate, but not much you can do. Summon Wins guy not helping any of them, yeah? Yeah, you can't believe they just canceled Tressa, I know. But you know, that's been a thing lately, and I mean, I for one don't like it, but you know, some people have a strong stance against her. So, coming up to Whistlewood, let's see what happens this time. Will they get frogs? Will they get voids? Will they get bugs? Or will they get the frog and 6 that you actually literally cannot kill that's rarer than a Kate? Actually, getting a Kate in Whistlewood is also a possibility. Which as long as you can kill it, they can come with howlers, and if you don't... And that might actually be a problem, because if he comes with howlers, he might run, and then you're not going to get enough JP with the howlers, but you can still kill the howlers, so, and then grinds. So it's actually annoying if you get a K with the howlers. Otherwise, it's fine if you see a Kate inside here. You can kill it fine. You can kill it fine. Outside, we saw that last... I want to say LostC0re got the Kate outside last time. Oof, there's the normal... This battle is one of the most common. 4 frogs of various incarnations exist. I think there's 3 separate 4 frogs battles, and all of them give not enough JP. Whereas LostC0re again getting bugs, and not getting surprised this time, so that's good. But Zero getting the ants, again, this is the best encounter to get out in this area. You get quite a decent amount of JP. I want to say it's like 20 or something like that. But LostC0re is now on his way. As is Zero, so now they're pretty close to tied because of the extra battle Zero had to do. But, so yeah, practically neck and neck now just because of RNG, and that's the way this game goes. So far, they've all done everything right, as expected, of the first and second place on the leaderboards. Tagging Noble Court here and off to Purgation. First of all, picking up this M stone over here. It's so nice of them to just leave M stones lying, soul stones lying around everywhere for us to wreck things with. And conveniently, almost on the way too. Here's another dungeon that actually trips me up a little. I always forget to go down and around, and sometimes head over to where the Tempest amulet is, but, you know, these runners don't have this problem. And now we're off to Tressa. No canceling Tressa today, sorry. Welcome, Sunny. I hope your all side stories run good well. So LostC0re, despite the fact he doesn't need to, deciding to kill this battle just for... Oh, actually, he decided to kill the ants and run. That's an interesting strategy. So, because of the way fleeing works, you will still have a better chance if you just have one enemy left like that. It's an interesting strategy, and it ended up working. Potentially, we don't know if he would have fled or not. Again, many things that you have to decide when you're running this game. Many weights you have to decide. Is it better to take a chance and maybe miss, or is it better to go to the guaranteed strat, but it's going to for sure be slower? It's simply something that you have to decide on the fly a lot, and each runner has their own preferences, and sometimes they will change just depending on how they feel. So this screen, you're going to get an encounter I think I've heard that maybe it happening once or twice. Like, some people might have gotten it once in their lives, but as you can see, that was incredibly early for Zero, however. It's usually not until at least you're down around these stairs. Or at least on this sort of flat area that LostC0re's on. Imagine if someone calling please puts a rat out now. Yeah, that would be funny. And he's right. She's right. Sanjan is correct. It did kind of happen. At the beginning of the tournament, you saw quite a number of different routes. There was this route. There was the 3-character thief route, which we saw last match, in fact. There's the 4-character inhibit route, which is sort of the classic route that I ran and a couple others ran. And then there was even the Therian route, which I looked into, that's zero-rooted. It's the slowest of all, but it's also the most consistent of every of them. Now, I, for one, actually thought everyone would be running the Therian route for safety, and silly me. Then 3-character routes happened, and rip. But yeah, once again, Mick and Mac down really quickly. Chapter 1 bosses just do not stand up to the might of large soul stones, and medium soul stones for that matter. Finishing off Tressa 1 here, and her cute theme, which we'll only hear for a couple seconds. And it's off down to the warrior and merchant shrines. Yeah, that harmonica. I mean, as a clarinet player, there's a reason I love that theme too, so... You know, the second half of it has a very nice little clarinet ditty part, so, grabbing the warrior shrine here. Interestingly enough, neither of the 4-character routes actually get this shrine. It's only used in 3-character routes. Because it's simply not needed. I suppose the cover could theoretically be useful, but it's slower to take it, so there's no reason to. Despite the fact that it is right along the way, no matter what, because you're always going to be going to Gold Shore, and you're always going to be getting Merchant Shrine. Even in the 3-character no Tressa route, which I'm still boggled by the fact that anyone actually went through with that, but they did. Save and quit here, as usual. No YOLO strats today. Still pretty close to each other. This part of the game from about after you enter Tressa's second part of her Chapter 1 dungeon area, the actual cave, up until the Gold Shore, the walk from Gold Shore, you're not likely to get an encounter at all outside of the one spot in Ripple-Tide, which is usually pretty free to leave. So, yeah, this is one of the most straightforward parts of the run, this little section. Hopefully Zero won't get the gold shore encounter again, and hopefully no one gets the ground thorn encounter, because we want to go fast. First try and scrutinize on the safe route, that's always nice. Thankfully, you don't need to do any other... Oh, Zero getting this encounter again. Ooh. Bad luck, getting it twice in a row. But yeah, as long as you don't fail 5 times, which is extremely unlikely, I think this is a 70% chance. If you do happen to fail 5 times, you are actually going to have to reset. Because later on in that guide, that story-mandated guide, that is still affected by your reputation, and you would need to reset it. And I believe in Gold Shore, it's something on the lines of... I don't remember, but your reputation reset is quite high in Gold Shore. Maybe, I want to say like 20,000? It's pretty up there. Yeah, I'm sorry, commentator's curse and all that. Interesting, LostC0re getting that M stone there, where Zero doesn't get it. So, now with that death, LostC0re is actually very slightly in the lead now. But, again, this screen is notorious for having battles. Pair of very nasty birds. That'll ruin your day. But thankfully they'll ruin your day very quickly if you do get into the battle. And, wow, that was definitely on the early side. Zero getting some really bad luck here. Let's see what happens with LostC0re. Yeah, as you can see, nowhere near strong enough to tank those. And LostC0re getting through nicely. Just a second. Alright, and now LostC0re's in the lead. Off to the lock of the... Didn't break with wins. Yeah, unfortunately, as you well know, they do have 4 shields, and even with the guy following you, he's just not going to do it well enough with an attempt at breaking. Oh, LostC0re getting Tony's mom over here. Is he doing the Thief Shrine right now? So if that's Tony's mom, she's got it going on. She has a soul stone. You can also buy soul stones from her, medium and small. But yeah, it's a nice little extra soul stone to grab, since you have to come over here anyway. I can use trade wins, that's funny. Just in case you don't actually know, you're just not going to get enough turns out before you get wrecked to get both characters, both birds broken. Even if you manage to summon, they're still going to hit 2 characters, and then you can trade wins one of them. And so, unless you get God tier turn order of Tressa first the next turn, and having her not be... Yeah, that's an incredibly unlikely scenario. You'd pretty much have to summon Wins guy. He does all 3 wins. Tressa staying alive, doing her win, and then being first next turn. Possible, but don't hold your breath. You could have Ophilia and Tressa before the bird. I guess that's possible too. Again, the speed stat in this game, we haven't mentioned this, but the speed stat in this game is, some might want to say doesn't really exist. It does, but the RNG factor in it is so huge that it might as well not. And so, for instance, going these level 7, 8, whatever characters, and it's level 45 danger enemies, they're very likely to go before any of your other teammates. So, in case you don't actually know, when you get into a battle and you're not surprised, as long as it isn't a boss battle, you will have one of your characters go first in battle no matter what. You always get one initiative, but after that, the turn order is judged, kinda, sorta, by speed. So getting 2 characters before those enemies is not too common, for sure. So here's LostC0re, Chapter 2. I didn't mention this last time. You scrutinize this NPC here. She has an ability called information, effectively, or whatever you want to call it, knowledge, I guess. Guide with ease. Basically, this lowers the level that is required for guides for Ophelia in this town. So later on, when they guide the Worry Ward, they'll actually be able to guide them rather than being level gated that they otherwise would be. That's a 50% screwed, and this is a 30% screwed here. So there's a reason why failing this guy is not an uncommon occurrence. Oh, but LostC0re got it. I believe that was the last try, so that's good. Picking up some... So another thing we didn't mention, this game has... Well, you could call them treasures. They're effectively just flavor text money. You sell them, you make money. Or you could keep them if you want to collect all items or whatever. But they're there to be sold. I mean, it's a nice touch, for sure, rather than just being a money chest everywhere. And since a lot of NPCs have them to buy or steal, then it helps add things out there, too. So, LostC0re, getting through Chapter 2 story parts with no issue. Off to the Merkwood. Zero, meanwhile, trying to scrutinize. Not having a good time of it. LostC0re not getting around. And now you can see that Zero unfortunately did not get to scrutinize. So he's going to have to pony up 8,000 leaves to restore his reputation. So then he'll get another 5 chances to fail. It's actually kind of funny that you basically have an unlimited number of chances as long as you have the money. Like, I don't want to hear about you guys causing trouble again, but it happens. And he doesn't say anything different. Just like, I don't want to hear about you guys causing trouble again. That's not the exact line, but it's close enough. Cyrus has a flair for the dramatic. Like to leave him until the very last moment. Yeah. He also likes to take dirt naps, so, you know. That's Cyrus for you. And LostC0re getting through this battle. And again, because of RNG, now LostC0re is firmly ahead. This game taketh, this game giveth away it. And all you can do, as Conant might say, is use them what they give you. So, funny story, not the last time, but like the time before, 2 times before I did this little run, I got this battle. It's a very rare battle with 2 chameleons, and the only thing that can break them is axes, and they do not die to a medium soulstone like the other encounter does. It's not a fun time. So here's Heratnit Vitner, which once again I probably mispronounced. He's a nice doggy, or is he? Anyways, he's weak to spears, he's weak to ice, we just happen to have spears. We just happen to have ice, and lighting, he's also weak to that. It's So it's quicker to choose lightning over ice simply because it's one less menu click. That's the only reason you would use lightning blast over blizzard in this fight. Either one would work. Both do exactly the same damage, 100% the same multiplier and everything. If they're both weak, if he's both weak to it. And taking down the Ratnitver, standard. Zero, unfortunately, once again, getting surprised by that battle. That battle just does not like him in this tournament. That is just some unfortunate luck for Zero recently with that battle. I'm going to have to ask how he feels about that. Does persistence do anything? Yeah, persistence gives you one more turn of buffs. Doesn't do anything to the damage. That's what you're asking. Thankfully, only getting surprised once again. Again, there's not really much you can do about it. It's just the game decides to say, hey, I feel like a surprise attack this time, and it does. Also, that dog there, he's a good dog. The game told us so. If you scrutinize or inquire it, that's the game will tell you he's a good dog. Don't do the Grand Port thing, you know, money, and so on. Finishing up Ophelia 3, starting Ophelia 3 here. Acquiring this lady. I actually don't know what the item is there, because the routes I've run don't actually inquire her, and it's been a while since I've checked out her item specifically. I have to imagine it's a treasure or something. If anyone in chat remembers what that item is, feel free to say. And Zero taking down Ratnitver pretty easily. Standard boilerplate. He's never a problem as long as you follow the instructions correctly, effectively. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to necessarily argue that all dogs are not good dogs, but, you know. This one, the game tells me, so, you know. Who am I to argue with a video game, right? Interesting, both of them in the same place, but a different part of the story. The LostC0re going to grab those bracelets we so sorely need to survive, as well as Worrywart, which we want to play nice and not worry all the time. The dog of really? I had no idea they were related. Does the game actually say that they're related, or are you just saying that? Because there's 3 dogs in Boulder Fall. And they have like hidden items of, like, I think one's a bone, I don't remember the other. I think one's like a rope, and one's a ball, a dirty ball or something. I don't remember exactly, but they're funny dog items. LostC0re getting through that screen, no problem. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I mean, I love the little details this game has all over the place. The only regret I think I have about that fact is that there's so many just generic names. I do think that they might have done that purposely, because if you see a non-generic name, they're usually related to a side quest. So something like the exotic grandma is related to a side quest, whereas old woman is just an old woman who doesn't really do anything beyond maybe have some good abilities or not. Or some good gear, like that old woman who has the sorcerer's robe. Like the warrior wart, he is a giver of a side quest, for instance. So he's called something unique. I do kind of wish everyone had some sort of unique name instead, but that's a small complaint, really. So, LostC0re on Mystery Man and Shady Figure, as I like to jokingly call him, Street Fighter and Majora's Mask, because of their initials. I don't know why I came up with that, but I did. Zar's thankfully not missing his attacks there. Once again, that luminescence will happen every time, and then the next turn they will heal for 800 every time. So that's all factored into this strategy. And thankfully, the second break here is done after, and it does a good 700 damage, which will help with a little bit of range issues if needed. And because... Oh, well, he did get the inhibit, but I guess it wasn't quite enough. Oh no, he didn't get the inhibit till after. That's right, I saw it now. Yeah, so, yep, turn 3 inhibit, classic. You have to question the parents' judgment. I mean, that's not you. I mean, in all seriousness, you know that's not their actual name. But yeah, that's pretty funny if you think about it that way. Still, outside, LostC0re might have to make up a little bit if he's down on soul stones. I don't know if the soul stone count is good or not. That remains to be seen. Oof, I'm not sure what happened there with Zero. Did he... Why would he have thrown a soul stone then? Huh. That's weird. Regardless, he got the inhibit. Or, no, he didn't. Sorry. I'm looking at the dancer inflicted status effects and thinking they're the inhibit, but they're not. Okay, LostC0re is good with stones. That's good to know. Yeah, I'm actually curious what that deal with that early soul stone was. Maybe it just does enough damage that if you do get the inhibit, you don't have to use an extra later or something. But that it's slightly quicker because the turn order. And here's the Plains Drakes for LostC0re. Let's see if he manages. Well, caught by surprise, which even getting caught by surprise is usually not too much of an issue here. Because they like to do that ability where they lower your defense. And 1,000 Spears will hit 3 times. It's 100% guaranteed to hit at least 3 times. So you're going to break one with 1,000 Spears. But you might not break both. And still managing to get both. Some Tressa hits. Nothing too major. Fluxco wanted to go with the real YOLO strats. He wouldn't even heal Tressa here, but I don't think that's going to be happening. Another nice little touch I like in this game is the towns have animal sounds in the background. Since this is a sheep town, you hear sheep bang, bleeding. In Cobblestone, you'll hear cows. It's a nice little touch. And then when another nice little touch is every enemy you encounter, monster at least, they'll make a sound like you'll hear a frog croak or a snake hiss or a Kate ring its bell. But yeah, LostC0re is still firmly in the lead now. T2 stone is in case you don't get inhibited. Alright. That makes sense. Oh, and Zero getting a nice lucky 1,000 spears break. That's actually not that common. One might think it would be, but because of the way 1,000 spears works, it's actually quite rare because it'll only hit a minimum of 3 times, and it's usually 3. It can hit 4, 5, 6 even, but it would also have to hit both of them since it's a random thing. And ooh, LostC0re unfortunately getting that battle in the last, right before the save point. And this is another case where you could just get bad luck, and depending on turn order and everything, you can possibly save this, but if you have an extra stone, but you probably just want to take the death here unless you actually know you have an extra stone or run. Getting a really lucky run there. Once again, that's actually incredibly low chance. I've done it a number of times, but it's still pretty rare. Rip, not rip indeed. Having to heal, not really a problem. You don't actually use very much XP in any of these battles. So having to spend some MP to SP to heal is not a big deal. On the other hand, these guys can still wreck you if they just decide to throw soul stones at you. On the other hand, them doing that, mean you're free. And taken care of, no problem. And LostC0re getting even another soul stone because he has the endless items ability on. That's what that little flash was. He has the endless items ability, which has a 25% chance of duplicating effectively the item you use, or just not using, consuming it, however you want to think about it. So he got the extra one there. Whether, I don't think he needs it, but he is for sure good on stones regardless. But still, Matthias can just do some things. He can give you a double tap, and you either have to try and save it or just lose and retry. And sometimes you just can't save it. It's oh, and speaking of which, that's what happens. He attacks first, then he does his magic. Not much you can do about it. All you can do is, if you know how to back it up, you back it up. Otherwise, ooh. Yeah, I think he's gonna have to reset this one. So now Zero's in the lead simply because Matthias said, "Sorry, LostC0re, not today." Yeah, these things can happen. RNG can RNG. Let's see what happens with Zero. The same thing could happen to him. Alright, so consuming nectars first is good, because at that point you're pretty much safe since Ophelia has cover. So, as you saw, it was going to hit Cyrus, but since Ophelia has cover, I think this happened last time with Zero as well, Ophelia took the hit. And tossing up a Reflective Veil. Absolute trash for your troll, I agree. And inhibit. If I remember right, that's actually a really good time for it to hit inhibit too. In fact, I think that was the optimal time for it to hit inhibit. Yeah. Provided Zero sells all the right inputs, and since this is Zero, he will. He's got this. Oh. Thanks. Thanks, Word. That's what we needed. He's like, yeah, take that! So, because of the extra Great Shield, Zero saving the phrase by using an Ice Wind instead of a Blizzard. Smart on him. Not surprised to see him do that. And that would be GG for Zero. Zero is now going to be our Ophelia single story tournament champion. And yeah.
Yay. Hey, Melodia.
Welcome, Zero. So, first things first, I think you know I'm going to ask about. How do you feel about Merkwood today?
I've never been a fan of Merkwood. Merkwood sucks, but this is honestly I've seen much worse.
Yeah, last time you had 3, I think it was, surprises in a row.
4. It was 4.
4? It was 4? Wow. Yeah. So in both games, so LostC0re was actually ahead of you for quite a lot of this. I believe he pulled ahead.
Probably around the Gold Shore Grand Port thefts, I had to guess.
That's what it was. Yeah. So he pulled ahead because of the Gold Shore Grand Port thing. But then he unfortunately got double tapped in Matthias, so yeah.
Was it one of those double taps that was just unrecoverable? Because sometimes they can bring it back, but
yeah,
sometimes
whatever it was, he just couldn't do it.
Dang.
But yeah, he would have won if that hadn't happened, I'm sure. But or inhibit didn't work. We don't know. Still, as you can see, even closer race the second time, but both did fantastic as expected of both of you.
GG LostC0re.
Welcome, LostC0re.
Yeah. I'm so happy. I don't have to play this anymore.
I'm right there with you. We can retire.
Yeah, so you were actually ahead for quite a while, LostC0re, right around Grand Port, the first Grand Port, when you tag it, because Zero got some bad encounter luck, but then Matthias happened, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, depending on how you look at it.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you didn't want to play that final match, it's fortunate. But, yeah, so both great, fantastic showing from both of you, though. It really did all come down to RNG. I didn't see any mistakes on either your sides as far as execution goes.
Yeah,
I definitely made a mistake twice. Go ahead.
I was going to mention my mistake first, if that's okay.
Okay, go for it.
On the first run, when Trissa died, I should have revived her before with Ramil. That's why I was missing so much money and had to. I don't know if anyone caught that. I had to run.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because her Eye for Money didn't work for the previous screen, which is like 3,000 leaves. Or which was
right, because she died in a high area. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Also,
I didn't see that, but I've done the same thing before with Grand Port Encounter, where Trista died, I'd revive her as punishment for getting the battle. And then I ended up like 4K short.
Yeah. So Zero also was the only one between the 4 races in the second race to fail to scrutinize in Sainsbury's.
Well, I'm sorry, can you say that again? I turned on my game audio for a second. I didn't hear.
Between the 4 races, 4 runs, Zero's second race was the only one to fail Sainsbury's, which is actually kind of a low, kind of surprising, really.
Yeah.
Well, it's 50-50.
I don't know if it's 50-50. It's somewhere around there.
And when you consider you have to do the guide with ease as well, though.
Yeah. By itself, the scrutinize for the items is 83% with 30s, but since you have that 50% first, it kind of brings that down. I never did the math on how much.
Yeah. I never did.
But it's right. My backup for money has been working beautifully. I've been just backing it up with collect and psychic staff, and it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Some little money optimizations I've done since I first routed this. I started selling quartz rods, and for MMSF, it's bandits. I do donate BP with Tressa. And that saves you enough to be able to back it up without like any extra pickups besides like psychic staff.
Well, psychic staff is a drop, so it's not even a pickup.
No, psychic staff is a chest right before Robin.
Oh, that thing. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking of the black staff.
Yeah. No, I didn't get to see her run saddle. I'll probably watch it later, but I'm kind of surprised that I won these. I definitely had. I mean, it's an OP race. There's always gonna be jank.
Yeah,
but it was some serious jank.
I mean, on the first race, if you're a minute and a half behind the average run before you even get your third character, I mean, when you end up losing by a minute and a half, you know why.
Yeah, I mean, I was right there with you. I had 5 battle on the way to Tressa 1. My Russell wasn't great, but yeah, just
you actually had
funny story.
Really good...
My second race on Russell, I didn't get a single someone wins. Not a single.
Oh my god.
Yeah. On the other hand, Zero's first run, he had really good both Guardian and Russell luck. He had like pretty much optimal luck on both of them, I believe.
I wouldn't say optimal. I'd say above average for a race. I actually, for the first time, I think I got like a 430 Guardian. All my Guardians have been terrible in the races so far, like 445 or above.
You got 2 encounters though outside, so.
Oh, that's normal. Oh, this was a fun one. Subterranean and Study. I got double ambushed, and one of them was a Bones, so I didn't have Lightning Blast.
Yeah, I saw that. I talked about it for sure.
Yeah.
That was something. On the other hand, LostC0re got 2 Sentinels on his first race.
I don't know how I feel about those. Those are like nice for the JP, but the kill's so slow at that point.
Right.
I also had the earliest like trip to the battle to the Grand Port save point I have ever seen. I was like, I didn't even get close to a sign. It was insane how early I got that.
I was wondering about that. I was like, wow, that was way early, but I didn't. I figured that was pretty early. Now you can all retire to ASS. Yeah, I mean, probably not.
How bad was your double tap on Maddie? Was it game over?
Yeah, it was just game over. There is no way. I mean, if he had done something other than Black Gale on the second turn, I was able to, like, what was it? Throw out 3 mercenaries with Tressa, try to recover it, but I mean, he used Black Gale, so like Cyrus got wrecked again, and then I just gave up at that point.
Yeah.
From my experience, that fight's always recoverable. It can just be really shit. Because you only need 2 characters to break, technically. Unless you actually get, like, inhibit turn 1 and then, like, kill Cyrus or something. I don't know. And not always, but, like, 90% of the time, I feel. But I don't know what you had, so I'm sure you played it properly.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah. It just, you sometimes have to reset it, like, turn 4 becomes turn 1, kind of, you know? It's like, you just bring everyone back and, like, go into turn 4 with nothing. And try to fix it from there, but that's obviously kind of garbage too. Yeah. 91 first on turn 2 in Black Gale. Damn.
Yep.
I think like the only way you do it is if you delay the olive, but it's like if he kills wait, who did he kill? Cyrus?
Cyrus.
Yeah, Cyrus.
I'm guessing he didn't have his blizzard off then. What did the summon do? Did he just olive?
Used the summon with Ophelia. He used attack, and then Tressa had the turn between Matthias's turns on turn 2, so I had her olive.
Okay, so it could have been fixed with a defend, but it would still been really shit. Yeah, it's like a risk at that
Yeah.
point. I would have probably gone for the same thing, honestly. It's like it's a race. If you die in Matthias, or like if you get that level Matthias, you're probably not going to win anyway. So
Yeah, especially after the comedy encounter that I got on chapter 4 as well.
oh yikes!
Yeah.
I'm guessing no escape, painful death.
It was looking to be the slowest death possible, but I somehow managed to run with Cyrus
Yeah.
on turn 2 at the last possible moment.
Nice.
Yeah, it happens. Those battles are runnable, but not too likely. But LostC0re pulled it off, and then he got punished for it. So it's all there is to it, you know.
Yeah,
Hey, that-
it's Octopath.
It's,
That's all there is to say at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's literally who gets unluckier or who gets luckier,
Yeah, I mean,
unless there's a skill gap.
No, once again, I pretty much would say it was all came down to luck between both matches. It was all there is to it.
I'm confirmed luckiest Octopath Ophelia single story runner. Let's go.
Yeah, I would agree. You do tend to get a lot of good luck just by my observation.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, but you're entitled to your opinion. I've done like 4 ambush Merkwood, Grand Port Gold Shore Depths.
Yeah, it's true.
You know who's popped off for me, though? Worrywart has been an absolute bro. He has never failed me on Maddie, and he has been good for me for MMSF most of the time. I think Worrywart's my MVP of the tournament.
Yeah.
This tournament was all about who gets the least.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is how Worrywart wasn't even considered until like right before the tournament started too.
I wouldn't say right before. I'd say like there was a month or so, maybe 2 weeks.
It wasn't that long.
Yeah, it was Dahlia with the 200 IQ recommendation. The reason he couldn't do Worrywart before was because we didn't have enough levels to get him after Chapter 2. But Dahlia recommended, like I mentioned, there was a guide with ease in the church.
Right.
And that's what made the route happen. Before we even used to use Master Jeweler every now and then. There's a guy in Grandport you can lure that does defense down. But he has a 25% chance, and he runs away way sooner, and he can't hit shields on Maddie, so it's just way worse, and it sucked.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah. There's also a guy in Atlas Dam. I think Mangar's route actually used him. Who was it? I don't remember his name, but he has an ability called Extort, which is like same thing, defense down, targeted.
Oh wow.
This is the guy that bullies Ferracio.
Oh yeah.
The Shifty Money Lender. Shifty Money Lender.
Shifty Money Lender, yeah.
And yeah. Any closing thoughts, guys?
Just happy that it's done.
Yeah, I mean, as the commentator, I'm actually happy I managed to commentate so many races. I mean, I've commentated all but like 3 of them.
Nice.
Actually, and it's been enjoyable to watch. It's very interesting to see the way that the runs can just change simply because of RNG. It's actually very interesting how leads can change because of it, from the beginning to the end. And as I said, anyone's game. LostC0re is ahead for more than half the race, but 0-1 simply because of better RNG right at the end. But even with a slower route, can win. If I remember in LostC0re's last match, he took the Thief Shrine. Is that right?
Did you? That doesn't sound like LostC0re.
That was Aang.
I think you're thinking of Aang.
He
Oh, was
almost
it?
beat me with it.
And he almost beat. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like, was it LostC0re or was it Aang who took the Thief Shrine?
No.
I don't really remember.
Then again, he got a Kate.
Oh, that's right.
He got a Kate, which saved
yeah,
all the time back from the time lost from the solar
that's
route.
true.
So.
Yeah, Aang got a Kate outside Whistlewood, which certainly
Which is nice.
a lot of time. So yeah, it's been a very interesting set of matches, but I think everyone is ready to move on into other pastures. We do have these newish nobles, rogues, males, females routes that a lot of people are getting into, and of course, for some reason, I mean, I'm not complaining, but for some reason, people are doing all side stories now and again.
Hey, I'm glad. I find that to be like one of the most interesting categories in terms of routing, so that's a good
It's in
thing.
terms of routing, but I mean, I haven't run it or anything, but people who run it say it's just so boring because it's so much running around and doing nothing.
No, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I haven't ran it myself yet. I will eventually, but
Um,
that was always supposed to be
so
one of my projects, and then I just never got around to it. I always wanted to get that optimal ass, you know?
yeah, it's always great. So I guess yeah, channel points, as Sanjan says, channel points made her to do it and turned into a race, and that was a pretty fun day. And then another one happened earlier today, actually, between Sunny and uh, Lapidus. I have no idea what the result was, but because they were well into this race. But so yeah, I hope everyone who's been watching, either just today or in general, has been enjoying them. Um, I don't know if the future is going to have another tournament. If it is, it's probably not going to be for quite a long time. But I do hope if you haven't yet, you'll join us on the Octopath speed running Discord. It's always great times on it. Everyone's just great. I would say we don't have any drama. I mean, I'm sure there is, but for the most part, pretty
People
chill.
are too busy routing.
Yeah.
No time for drama. Gotta do speedrun stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely one of the better speedrun groups out there, in my opinion. And that's not just bias, that's from me being quite around a lot of them
Everyone's
over the
really chill.
years.
The Octopath community as a whole, really awesome. And if any
Yeah,
of you liked watching this and want to get into it, join the Discord. Everybody will be happy to help, and it's a lot of fun to
yeah.
run.
And again, we have 8 separate characters with these short runs. We even have a couple other short runs that you can do, longer runs. So there's plenty of options. Um, And if you haven't actually played the game, well, I highly recommend it. But what are you doing watching a speed running tournament? I don't know, but that's up to you, I guess. So at that, I do believe we might be finished here, guys.
I think so. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, SpeedGaming, for hosting the tournament, and thank you, everyone that helped make it run smooth. All the organizers, all the runners as well. Yeah, GG LostC0re. It was a good race.
Thank you, GG, and thanks to all the viewers, speed gaming community, and commentators too.
All right. Thank you, everyone. It's a fun time, and we'll see you next time, whenever that is. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.